Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are diving into MCP, Model Context Protocol, and I'll show you how to build your very own MCP server using Java Spring AI. We'll use a simple project, a contact book app that serves data both through REST APIs and MCP tools. So, what is MCP? MCP or Model Context Protocol is a standard that lets AI models securely and efficiently access external tools, APIs, and data. Think of it as a bridge. Instead of the AI being limited to just text, MCP servers exposes tools. And AI clients like Cursor, Clouded Desktop, or VS Code extensions can call them directly. I'll show you one of the projects which I have built recently, and the project runs on Spring Boot 3.3 while the backend is Java 21. It does two things. It serves REST APIs to read context from a JSON file and exposes the same operations as MCP tool using Spring AI MCP Server Starter. Before going there, I would want to emphasize on the transport layer options which are available. One is called STDIO transport layer and the other one is called SSE transport layer. The STDIO transport layer uses standard input and output stream for communication. It is lightweight, easy to configure, and perfect when the client spawns the MCP server as a subprocess. This is the most common setup for tools like Cursor or Clouded Desktop. The next one is SSE transport layer, which is called server sent events. This runs over HTTP, streaming events between the MCP client and the server. It is useful if your server is hosted remotely or needs web-based communication. For this tutorial, we are going to use STDIO transport layer because it's simple and works seamlessly with local development tools. I'll use Cursor as my IDE for development today. If you can see over here, I have defined the Spring AI MCP server transport as STDIO. This is how this setting is made. Now for us to run the server, we would have to use a terminal. You'll have to build the project. I'm going to share the link to the project in the description. You'll have to build the project and run java-jar. Here I've chosen the server port as 8085. Once you have it running, you can see it over here. So this is how the server comes up. Let me show you the whole code walkthrough one by one. So first one I already talked about. You have to define Spring AI MCP server transport as STDIO for this use case. I'll now go to individual project files to show you how it is being built over here. So this is my pom.xml, which is the parent pom for this project. I've used Spring Boot Starter Web, which is going to pull Spring Boot 3.3 over here. Next, I have used Spring AI Starter MCP Server Web MVC. This is the heart of the project. This is the one which is going to do the magic of giving us the option to build the MCP tool. The third one is the Jackson core library, which I am using for parsing the JSON in the project. Let me go to the contacts.json file. This will serve as the database for this project. As you can see, there are two entries over here. One is for Amit Kumar and the other one is for Ravi Sharma. These are standard inputs which we are going to use. Next, I'll go to the contact service.java. It is a service and I've annotated with @service over here. What this service would do is it would use object mapper and read the whole contact.json which is passed as class path resource and loads it in the memory. It has two methods. One is called the get all contacts, which will return all the contacts, Amit Kumar as well as Ravi Sharma. And the next method is get contact by name. It will take name as an input and it will try and find out if that same name has an entry in the JSON. I'll now go to the REST controller. The REST controller is defined by @REST controller annotation. The request mapping Here the base one is /contacts. Now if you go here and you don't provide get mapping and some value, it will always consider contacts to run this method, contact service dot get all contacts. Now this contact service is the same service which was there earlier. The next mapping is contacts /name/phone. Here, once you provide the name, it will go again to the same service, get the contact by name, do the mapping and return the result. Now we'll go to the most important part of the video, which is the contact tools.java. This is where we have defined all the MCP related logics. So if you can see over here, there are two options. These two libraries are called Spring Framework AITools annotation tool and tool param. This again would act as a service for the application. The magic happens here. @tool annotation. If you provide @tool annotation and provide it a name, which is called list contact over here, I've given a description where it says it will retrieve the full list of contacts with username, email, and phone number. This will again go to the same contact service and pull out all the contacts and return that. The next tool is get phone by name. This fetches the phone number for a given username. If you notice it, it will have @tool param where it is going to take the string name again, and it will again go back to the contact service class and it will use the same method and return the results for that method. I'll first show you the REST response and then I'm going to show you the MCP response. First, we're going to go for the REST response. If you look over here, localhost 8085 contacts, it returns me the exact two entries which are there for both the users. The next one is where I have provided the name as Amit Kumar in the API and I'm waiting for the phone number, and this is what the phone number comes up. So the REST response is ideal. Let me go to the MCP response. If you look over here, get phone by name Amit Kumar, this is the client which is present in Cursor, and it is going to go to our MCP server and return the same result for the user Amit Kumar. There is another tool which is called the list contacts. The list contacts tool will return all the users which are present over here. So we see here, it works for both. It works for the REST endpoints, which can be accessed via Postman as well as any browser. It also gives the same functionality through the MCP. So what did we learn? MCP lets AI tools interact with structured APIs and data. MCP servers can run on two transport layers, STDIO, which is the standard input output, and SSE. Now for simplicity, we have used STDIO, which works great for local development. With Spring AI MCP boot starter, you can use Java methods as MCP tool in just a few lines. If you found this video useful, don't forget to like and subscribe. In upcoming videos, we'll extend this MCP servers. Drop your questions in the comments and I'll see you in the next one.